The good news is it's going to be east of where Matthew came here, east of Jacksonville. About 40 miles is off our shores where Matthew came, and that's how close it got. We're thinking between 80 and 100 miles now, the latest forecast track for Dorian here, a Category 3 hurricane, major hurricane still right now. You can see as we zoom down in here to this infrared satellite imagery, it still is an impressive hurricane. Now, it's now beginning to wobble and back to the north, perhaps a little bit. They're still reporting it as stationary overall, but you can see these little oscillations and wobbles, I guess I'll call it, for you here just north of Grand Bahama Island, which means they're still in the eye wall pretty much with some intense wind on the northern end of the island there. About 30 hours of eye wall interaction there with Grand Bahama Island. It is just unprecedented and pretty intense there. Obviously, we've seen those images coming out, unfortunately, from the northern Bahamas. Here's the latest 5 a.m. forecast track. You can see here 2 p.m. on Tuesday still. For this afternoon, a major hurricane east of Florida. And then as we head into the afternoon on Wednesday, so in the morning, we'll be seeing it to the south and east of Jacksonville. There's Jacksonville right here, still about 80 to 100 miles east of Jacksonville, which, of course, if we can get it even farther to the east, that would help in terms of wind and rain and potential isolated tropical tornadoes. But also, we're going to still see those destructive waves, 15 to 20 feet, and the breakers there, and continuing to overwash some of our low-lying dunes. Here's the steering current for Dorian. You can see that drier air. This is going to help lift it back up and eventually back to the north and east. That's an upper-level trough there is what we're talking about. Now, what has changed with this advisory is the hurricane watches are now tropical storm warnings for Duval County, Nassau County, portions of the coastal areas of Camden County and Glenn County. You're now under a tropical storm warning. That was a hurricane watch. St. Johns County, you're still under a hurricane warning right now. So in other words, we think it was mainly a tropical storm force wind threat for these areas here. Potentially some hurricane force wind gusts there in St. Johns County, but that's one of the changes here. You may have just gotten those alerts on your Action News Jax First Alert weather app, and that's why, is because there have been some changes there with the watches and warnings. 4 to 6 footers though with the surge, 4 to 6 feet of surge, 10 to 20 plus feet with those waves, and that will be on top of the surge potential there. So especially we're going to have a high tide cycle on Wednesday afternoon, and that's something we're watching closely here. No changes there yet to the storm surge watches and warnings. Tropical wind timeline as early as late tonight and into the overnight hours for St. Augustine Beach, Flagler County as well. We'll be seeing the potential for those tropical storm force winds to be entering the area and lasting through early on Thursday morning for Jacksonville Beach. You can see a little bit later, about 5 a.m. In the morning on Wednesday. So the tropical storm force winds will be overnight and into tomorrow morning. Here's 5 Street First Alert Doppler HD tracking some showers, not with Dorian yet. This is not Hurricane Dorian, in other words, the outer bands. That'll be later tonight and into the overnight and into your Wednesday, really, when Dorian is passing well to our east. We'll have more details, break it down county by county, what you can expect. That's coming up in the Action News Jax First Alert 7-day forecast.